Hi and Assalamualaikum to Dr. Yusuf and all friends. We are from Group 3 in L2 class. We will present the ratio analysis between Fraser and Neff Holdings and Farm Fresh Berhad. There was 8 content in this presentation, which is introduction, background of the company, Fraser and Neff Holdings, background of the company, Farm Fresh, ratio analysis, trend analysis, cross-section analysis, overall analysis, and lastly, conclusion.
Assalamualaikum. Today we want to talk about ratio analysis. This report analyses the financial performance of Fraser and Neff Holdings FN and Farm Fresh Berhad, two companies in Malaysia food and beverage industry. Even though they are not hospitality companies, their products are widely used in hotel, restaurant, cafe and airline catering. FN was chosen because it's a well-established company with strong brand used in many hospitality settings. Next, Farm Fresh Berhad was selected for its fast growth and health-focused dairy product. The report used financial ratio analysis 2023 and 2024 and financial forecasting to compare their performance. Lastly, the result helped compare traditional companies and modern, also help driving business and suggest improvement.
Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. My name is Nur Yumni Ishira binti Muhammad Sota and my metric number is H24A2887. Today I would like to present the background of Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad, also known as FNN. FNN is one of the oldest food and beverage company in Malaysia, established in 1883. The company is a Sharia compliant firm listed on the main Bursa of Bursa Malaysia, with an annual turnover of about 5 billion. FNN focused on the manufacturing and marketing of beverage and dairy products. Originally a carbonate beverage producer, FNN has grown into a leading food and beverage company in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. The company operates in two main segments, which are FNN Malaysia and FNN Thailand. In Malaysia, FNN is well known for popular brands such as 100 Plus, FNN Milk Product, Season, Nutrisoy, Oishi and Ice Mountain. FNN continue to expand through product innovation by adapting to changing consumer trends, especially the demand for nutritious and ready-to-drink beverage. With strong brand value and financial stability, FNN plays an important role in Malaysia's food and beverage industry. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. My name is Hasni Zurani binti Zamri. My metric number is H24A3289. Today I will present the background of the company Farm Fresh. Farm Fresh Berhad was established in 2009 by Lloyd Tuan Yee. The company focused on producing fresh milk instead of powder milk to ensure better quality and taste. Farm Fresh used the from grass to glass concept where they can control the entire process from farming to packaging. They operate dairy farm in both Malaysia and Australia to maintain consistent supply and quality. Today, Farm Fresh offers various dairy products such as milk, yogurt, and ice cream. Due to continuous innovation and quality products, Farm Fresh is recognized as one of the top dairy brands in Malaysia. And lastly, with the strong focus on quality, Farm Fresh will be able to grow and remain competitive in the Malaysian dairy industry.
Today, I want to explain the trend analysis of Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad, FNN Berhad, for the years 2023 and 2024. First, looking at liquidity ratio, the current ratio went down from 2.95 to 2.46, and the quick ratio also decreased from 2.05 to 1.79. This shows a slight decline, but the company is still able to pay its short-term liabilities. However, the cash ratio dropped from 1.21 to 0.42, meaning FNN has least cash available immediately, although overall liquidity is still stable. Net, for solvency ratio, the debt to equity ratio stay the same at 0.53, and the debt to asset ratio also remain at 0.34, showing the company is not heavily depends on debt. The interest coverage ratio stay low at 0.05, which indicates some pressure in paying interest. On the positive side, the market value of equity to total liability ratio remain high on the 0.9. In terms of profitability ratio, the gross profit margin improved from 0.29 to 0.31, but the net profit margin, return on equity, and return on asset went down, showing lower profit overall. Lastly, the efficiency ratio, the asset turnover ratio decreased slightly. The inventory turnover increased from 4.67 times to 4.83 times, and the receivable turnover dropped from 7.01 times to 6.15 times, but collection is still under control. To include, FNN is financially stable, but the company should improve its profit and cash management in the future. Thank you.
Next, I will talk about financial performance of Farmfresh by comparing years 2023 and 2024. First, looking at liquidity ratio, Farmfresh is able to pay its short-term debts in both years. The current ratio increased slightly from 2.92 in 2024 to 3.01 in 2023, which is a good sign. However, the cash ratio dropped from 0.34 to 0.14, meaning the company had less cash on hand in 2023. Next is solvency ratio. The debt to equity ratio increased from 84% to 167%. This shows that Farmfresh used more debt in 2023. Even so, the interest coverage ratio improved a lot from 5.09 times to 53.95 times, meaning the company can easily pay its interest expenses. In conclusion, Farmfresh is financially stable, but the higher debt in 2023 could increase financial rates. Next, I will explain the profitability and efficiency performance Farmfresh for the years 2023 and 2024. First, looking at profitability ratios. Farmfresh show improvement in 2024. The gross profit margin increased from 23% to 26%, which means the company earned more profit from its sale. The net profit margin also increased slightly from 98% to 99%, showing better overall profitability. Return on equity from 97% to 160%, and return on asset increased from 58% to 62%. This shows that Farmfresh used its equity and asset more effectively in 2024 to generate profit. Next, for efficiency ratios, the efficiency ratios increased from 0.59 to 0.63, showing better use of resources. Account receivable turnover increased from 19.04 to 24.51, meaning the company collect payment faster. Inventory turnover also improved from 2.90 to 3.60, showing better inventory management. In conclusion, Farmfresh performed better in 2024 with higher profitability and improved efficiency.
For the next, cross-sectional analysis, I will compare financial performance between Fraser and Nif Holdings Berhad and Farmfresh Berhad. Which company is better overall?
In terms of liquidity, both companies are in a good position and can pay their short-term liabilities. FarmFresh has higher current and quick ratios, which shows stronger short-term liabilities. However, FarmFresh has much stronger on cash ratios, means it can pay its current liabilities using cash only, while FarmFresh depends more on their other current asset. For solvency, FNN perform better. It has lower debt compared to its equity and total asset, which means lower financial risk. FNN also has a much higher interest coverage ratios, showing that it can easily pay its interest expenses. In addition, FNN use asset more efficiently to generate sales and profit compared to FarmFresh. In a conclusion, FarmFresh is higher short-term liquidity, while FNN is a better company because it has lower debt, higher efficiency, and stronger long-term stability. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Ainaja binti Zulkifli and my magic number is H24A3065. Today I'm going to present with you guys about cross-sectional analysis. This slide presents a cross-sectional analysis comparing a Fraser and Neff Holding and FarmFresh Berhad based on their profitability and efficiency ratio, with the aim of evaluating their performance within the same industry and period. And as you guys can see, Fraser and Neff Holding outperform FarmFresh Berhad in terms of profitability and operational efficiency, and it's reflected by a higher profit margin, return and asset utilization. This indicates a stronger financial performance and more effective resource management. However, FarmFresh Berhad demonstrate a better account receivable turnover, suggesting a more efficient cash collection. In conclusion, while FarmFresh Berhad shows strength in managing receivable, Fraser and Neff Holding exhibit a stronger overall financial performance. That's all.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Sisi Isani binti Muhammad Andy. My magic number is 3717. I will presenting the financial performance and trend analysis for FNN and FarmFresh from 2023 to 2024. First, ratio analysis is important because it helps simplify complex financial data and allow us to identify a company's strength and weakness over time. Starting with FNN, we can see that its liquidity position weakened as both the current and quick ratio decline, and the cash ratio also become weaker. In terms of solvency, FNN maintained stable debt to equity and debt to asset ratios. However, its interest coverage ratio was weak, indicating pressure in covering interest expenses. For profitability, although the gross margin improved, the net margin, ROE, and ROA declined, showing reduced overall profitability. In terms of efficiency, asset turnover was slightly lower, but inventory turnover improved. Moving on to FarmFresh, its liquidity performance improved with a stronger quick ratio and cash ratio. For solvency, debt to equity dropped, showing less reliance on debt, but interest coverage fell sharply, which is a concern. In terms of profitability, gross margin, ROE, and ROA all improved, while net margin remained very high. Efficiency also improved with better asset turnover, faster receivable collection, and higher inventory turnover. In conclusion, FNN shows stability but declining profitability, while FarmFresh demonstrates stronger growth and efficiency, although it faces some solvency risks. That's all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone, my name is Wan Salsabila binti Wan Muhammad Faizul. My magic number H24B3742. Okay, now I will continue my part with the cross-sectional analysis where we compare FNN, Fraser and Nif Holdings and Farmfresh side by side for the year 2024. Okay, starting with liquidity, both companies are in a very healthy positions, which is FNN shows stronger immediate cash availability, while Farmfresh demonstrates better overall management of liquid assets. Okay, this means FNN is more prepared for short-term payments, but Farmfresh is more efficient in balancing assets against liabilities. Moving to solvency. FNN maintains a stable and controlled debt structure, but Farmfresh has reduced its reliance on debt, which is a positive sign, but its ability to cover interest expenses has weakened. In other words, Farmfresh is less dependent on borrowing, but it must ensure that profitability remains strong enough to support its financial commitments. Okay, looking at profitability, Farmfresh clearly outperforms FNN. Farmfresh has managed to keep margin high and deliver strong returns to shareholders, while FNN has faced declining profits and lower returns. This shows that Farmfresh is more effective at turning sales into actual profit, whereas FNN needs to improve its efficiency in generating income. Finally, in terms of efficiency, Farmfresh stand out again. It uses its assets more effectively to generate revenue, collect receivable faster, and manage inventory more efficiently. FNN remains consistent, but Farmfresh shows stronger momentum in improving cash flow and reducing risk related to stock management. Okay, overall, the comparison highlight that FNN is stable and reliable, especially in liquidity and debt management, while Farmfresh is stronger in growth efficiency and profitability. However, both companies face challenges. FNN must focus on improving profitability, while Farmfresh needs to strengthen its solvency to ensure that long-term sustainability. To conclude this, analysis shows that financial ratios are not just numbers, but they reflect business strategies, risk, and future sustainability. Both FNN and Farmfresh play important roles in Malaysia's food and beverage industry, supporting hospitality and tourism, but each must address its weakness to remain competitive. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
First, financial ratio analysis of FNN and Farmfresh. This study compares the financial performance of FNN and Farmfresh Berhad over 2023 and 2024 by using financial ratio analysis, focusing on liquidity, solvency, profitability, and efficiency to assess their overall financial position. Okay. Second, Farmfresh show improvement because Farmfresh Berhad demonstrate noticeable improvement, especially in liquidity, showing that the company is able to meet its short-term obligation, while improvement in solvency, profitability, and efficiency indicate better cost control and increasing growth potential as a company expands. Okay. Third, FNN performs better because the finding indicate that FNN outperform Farmfresh Berhad overall, particularly in solvency, profitability, and efficiency, which reflect stronger financial stability and more effective management of assets and operation. Okay, last, both companies are financially stable. In conclusion, both companies are financially stable. However, FNN remains
financial stronger in most areas and continue to be capable meeting both short-term and long-term financial obligation despite of slight decline in some profitability ratio in 2024.